You're so stupid.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're taking the stand to defend one of cinema's fetchest villains, Regina George.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
As a skilled manipulator, Regina rules the school with an iron fist and wields her power dangerously. She's even been called straight-up evil.
Evil takes a human form in Regina George.
But this claim doesn't quite pan out by the end of the story. Although Regina may be set up as a hateable antagonist, the way the world shapes her and others like her actually explains a lot about her character.
Some of us shouldn't have to take this workshop because some of us are just victims in the situation.
Without further ado, here's why Regina George is actually, not totally the worst.
Regina, you seem to really hate her. Yes. What's your question? Well, my question is, why?
A character we love to hate. With enviable confidence and a venomous bite, Regina checks every baddie box. She's the mean girl of all mean girls.
She's the queen bee.
When we're introduced to her, she's being carried by a crew of lackeys, instantly signaling her place as the monarch of North Shore High. But she's not the first to reign, and she won't be the last. Outside of the story's world, Regina actually fits nicely into a long line of mean girl archetypes, which all share very intentional markers that make us subconsciously despise them before they even show their fangs. In countless other teen movies, the head mean girl is an uber-glamorous beacon of femininity, symbolizing pink, glittery girlhood to the nth degree. She has it all, from the nicest clothes to the hottest boyfriend to a posse of followers. Her lifestyle feels out of reach, and her hyper-feminine traits feed into a historical disdain of over-the-top girlishness. She's almost always pitted against a bumbling black sheep that threatens her legacy, someone who's not like other girls because she's awkward and nice, which makes her rootable.
You're really pretty.
Thank you.
So you agree?
What?
You think you're really pretty?
Oh, I don't know.
Meanwhile, the mean girl is so polarizing because she's neither.
So you can go shave your back now.
Despite her vicious attitude, there's something infectious about the queen bee, as we see with Katie and countless others in the school attempting to emulate her in their bid for social status. As a dictator, Regina commands a combination of fear and adoration from her classmates, who gush over every detail of her life.
She has 2 Fendi purses and a silver Lexus.
I hear her hair's insured for $10,000.
One time, she punched me in the face. It was awesome.
So if Regina is that mean, why does almost everyone want to be her? Janice actually lays it out perfectly in her plot to take Regina down.
How do you overthrow a dictator? You cut off her resources.
Each part of her mission means compromising one of the superficial traits Regina is revered for: her jock boyfriend, a physique widely regarded as attractive, and her army of followers who, really, are only yearning for proximity to power. Beyond this list, there's the wealth she was born into and all the beauty she can afford to upkeep. It's clear she was primed to be the alpha girl from the start, and by perfecting the art of knocking others down, her rise to the top seems inevitable.
So are you gonna send any candy canes?
No. I don't send them, I just get them.
While the movie begins with the school already under the rule of the leading plastic, we do see how Katie's social ascension could reflect Regina's original climb, from regular girl to mean girl. By the same token, a lot of the subtle clues about Regina's backstory actually paint a far more complex picture of her personality, one that sheds light on her tough exterior. The mean girl mold. Even though Regina plays the part of the mean girl oh so well, it's pretty obvious this temperament is just a facade. Even if she initially appears perfectly composed, she's actually dealing with a lot of turmoil in her home life. Beyond alluded to marital issues between her parents,
Her parents totally don't sleep in the same bed anymore.
it's clear no boundaries were ever set in the George household, never mind discipline.
There are no rules in this house.
We even get a glimpse of what young Regina's life might have looked like through her little sister. A lack of structure at home can do a lot of harm to a still developing mind, and we see it all play out right in front of us. While it's not fruitful to demonize wealth, Regina was obviously never told no a day in her life. Instead of showing up for her in ways that count, her parents bought her love or otherwise strived for it by pushing leniency to the max.
Not like a regular mom, I'm a cool mom. Right, Regina?
Please stop talking.
Knowing this, Regina's bratty behavior starts to look like a cry for help. She has no healthy emotional outlets, evident by the way she sobs to her friends and later snaps in a rage-fueled meltdown. It's also difficult to have a true sense of self when you've entirely built your confidence upon incredibly fragile traits that require tireless maintenance.
I really want to lose 3 pounds. Is butter a carb?
The odds are stacked against her as she tries to manage the unfair cult of personality her peers have constructed for her.
She's not even that good looking if you really look at her.
I don't know. Now that she's getting fatter, she's got pretty big jugs.
And she knows that her position at the top is shaky, which is why she immediately takes her biggest threat, Katie, under her wing. Though, as we know, this eventually backfires. Katie arrives as a total outcast, then molts into Regina 2.0 by stealing her personality, friends, boyfriend, and wardrobe. At first in a plot to foil her, but then because she finds the power intoxicating.
Buddy, you're not pretending anymore. You're plastic. Cold, shiny, hard plastic.
The way in which all of these mean girl traits are so easily transferable to Katie proves that this alpha persona is just a placeholder, a mere template that can be copy-pasted to another within a single school year. Like all the film and TV mean girls who came before, adopting this facade is really a matter of climbing to the top of the social pyramid, and really, who doesn't want to sit at the top?
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
It's important to consider that Mean Girls focuses on a group of high schoolers. At this point in their lives, being well-liked by peers is one major way they measure their self-worth, and you have to play to win.
I want you to raise your hand if you have ever had a girl say something bad about you behind your back. And this time, I want you to raise your hand if you have ever said anything about a friend behind her back.
The writers make it a point to show how the title of Mean Girl can be applied to most of the characters at some point, even the lovable losers we initially root for. Janice and Damien behave like mean girls when they enact a plot to sabotage Regina.
I can't spy on her anymore. It's weird.
Come on, she's never gonna find out. It'll be like our little secret.
Katie later perpetuates the same cycle of mistreatment on her own friends during her rise.
How come you didn't call me back?
I got busy, sorry.
So you need a ride to my art show this weekend?
No, I have to go to Madison with my parents.
Ultimately, it's hard to really place the title of villain on Regina, or any of these characters, when they're all just adolescents with a lot of growing to do. Fortunately, Regina does grow a lot by the end of the film. Once Katie kicks her out of the plastics and her social stock plummets, she becomes a victim herself.
That's where you're going, fat ass!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. By seeing this plastic clone of herself reflect back all the toxic traits that come with popularity, Regina gets to see herself in a brand new light. She receives some much-needed therapy and takes the advice to channel her anger into sports. As it turns out, Regina actually makes a stellar athlete, and in the process, she finds a new set of friends who celebrate her for the right reasons. As Katie comes to the realization that conquering the girl world means hurting everyone around her, she breaks the spring fling tiara into pieces, along with what is hopefully a symbolic representation of the oppressive system they've all been embroiled in.
When I think about how many people wanted this, and how many people cried over it and stuff, I think everybody looks like royalty tonight. Why is everybody stressing over this thing?
It took things reaching a terrible peak for the students at North Shore High to find peace, and for us, the viewers, to understand Regina is ultimately just as much a victim as she is a perpetrator.
There's good and bad to everybody, right? Regina's just... she's just more upfront about it.
Just before the credits roll, we're introduced to a new group of underclassmen plastics, showing that, despite all this work, the cycle continues. We all learned the lesson at some point, right? As for Regina, she's still figuring herself out by the end, and when we look past the hard, perfectly sculpted exterior, we find a teenager who lacks support and who has been taught she will only ever be valued for trivial things. Luckily, she emerges as someone new, who still has a lot to learn, but who's definitely on a better path than she once was. You go, Regina George.
Love ya.
So, do you agree with our defense of Regina? Even if you didn't like her, you can't deny that she's so effortlessly quotable. Let us know your favorite Regina quips in the comments below.
Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.